I titled this video after much contemplation. I believe it is the only appropriate title I could give based upon the overall situation with Audeze. This video is split into 3 parts. Part 1 is regarding the feud between Audeze and Massdrop. Part 2 is regarding Audeze collaborators perpetuating excuses for Audeze's anti-consumer behavior. And Part 3 is my argument why I believe Audeze is antagonizing its own customer base. About 1 week ago, Massdrop announced it had Audeze headphones for sale. Those headphones would be sold at a marginal discount, a questionable benefit over buying directly from Audeze. A few days after this notice, Audeze tweeted they would not provide warranty support for any of its headphones sold on Massdrop. This was upsetting to many. It was confusing and unfriendly to say the least. Audeze then clarified their position. They tweeted again and alleged that the headphones Massdrop were selling were fakes and stolen. This was surprising. It was a clear allegation of criminal conduct, asserting that Massdrop was involved in criminal fraud. A representative from Massdrop responded. He countered that the headphones Massdrop had obtained were from a legitimate source. He said that Audeze's selling practices are anti-competitive and restrictive. He said Massdrop obtained these headphones after a legitimate reseller contacted them to offload the lot. Metal571 got himself involved. He defended Audeze with absurd and questionable logic. We will talk about his conduct in Part 2. However, I will say here that Metal did himself no favors and actually provided arguments hurtful to Audeze's case. The current state of Audeze headphones being sold on Massdrop is this. If you buy them from Massdrop, Audeze will not offer any warranty whatsoever. Massdrop will provide its own warranty, but considering Massdrop is merely a seller, that warranty will likely be limited to refunds when appropriate. Buy these headphones with caution and after due reflection. If these headphones are faulty and you want to have them repaired, you would be out of luck. Fans will make excuses for their favorite brands. It happens all the time. Those people refuse to acknowledge a brand's faults. It is a deep psychological problem. They are devoted to a company that only wants their money, and these people are happy to hand over their cash. Audeze fans are not unruly or any more or less obnoxious than any other. What these fans say regarding the feud is of marginal value. These people have no pull and no meaningful contribution to determine what is actually happening. They're merely supporting a brand they like. But Metal571 is a different matter. He decided to join the controversy. I will show on screen his Reddit comments as I speak. Metal is not a reliable source of unbiased information. This is because he is unquestionably biased. His close relationship with Audeze has been apparent from the day he gushingly praised the LCD-1 when no one else knew these headphones existed. His name appears on Audeze's sales page. He is clearly working with Audeze to promote the brand. A more biased person would be hard to find. I do not know if he is paid by Audeze, but he doesn't need to be paid directly by them. The mere fact that he has been given prominent adulation by Audeze is enough. His argument defending Audeze is annoyingly shady. First, Metal doubles down on Audeze's claims that Massdrop is selling fake or stolen merchandise. He says, quote, "Good luck with Drop somehow being able to cover warranty support on these gray market serial numbers," end quote. As if he already knows the headphones are stolen. He, of course, does not have anything to support this bold assumption. It is utterly irresponsible for Audeze and Metal to assert the headphones Massdrop is selling are in fact gray market items, unless these guys have proof they should just shut the fuck up. Metal further blames Massdrop because, according to him, Massdrop is refusing to tell Audeze the serial numbers for the headphones. This, in Metal's opinion, is evidence of wrongdoing. This is such an absurd statement, I am irritated I have to address it, but Metal cannot be allowed to propagate misinformation. There are 2 very legitimate reasons why Massdrop should not tell Audeze those serial numbers. That's right, I'm saying there are reasons that Massdrop should not tell Audeze ever. First, Audeze's blanket statement that they will not warranty any headphones purchased from Massdrop is a reason sufficient to deprive Audeze of this information. If Massdrop hands over the serial numbers, then Audeze will know precisely which units to blacklist. Why should Massdrop help Audeze screw us all over? Why should Massdrop, now having been accused of conspiring to commit criminal fraud, do anything Audeze wants? Second, if it is true that the resellers who sold the stock to Massdrop violated some sort of clause, written or just understood, between them and Audeze, why the hell should Massdrop hand over that identifying information? If Audeze is a competent manufacturer, it has a log of all its serial numbers, and it knows exactly which serial numbers were sent to which reseller. If Massdrop hands over the serial numbers, then Audeze will have the information it needs to backtrack the original reseller. We know from experience that Audeze is a mean-spirited, vindictive company. There is every reason to assume Audeze will take remedial action against the reseller that sold the headphones to Massdrop. Metal further talks about how minimum advertised pricing is completely legal and Massdrop is falsely accusing Audeze of price fixing. Metal, of course, is not a lawyer, but I am. And Metal should stop talking about the law. He doesn't know it. Minimum advertised pricing is legal unless it is illegal. That is, the circumstances of the minimum pricing will determine if the practice is legal. Federal law is not so concerned about this practice, but individual states in the United States have different requirements. Consequently, what may not be a federal violation may very well be a state violation. Metal's argument that the minimum advertised pricing is normal in the industry is unconvincing. Screwing over recording artists is also normal in the recording industry. That doesn't mean it's right. Finally, Metal says that it is, quote, a dick move by some unknown dealer unloading stock and drop agreeing to sell it under MAP, end quote. But this doesn't make any sense. You see, Metal just a paragraph before said that MAP, or minimum advertised pricing, is not binding, that resellers can sell below the minimum advertised price. And now that a reseller has apparently done that, they're a dick? In other words, Metal will talk out of both sides of his mouth to defend Audeze. This is disgusting behavior. Metal's defense of Audeze takes grievous assumptions. He is assuming facts that have not been proven. He is making legal arguments that are not accurate. He is making blanket statements that are, at the end of the day, still not justification for Audeze's behavior. Consequently, reading Metal's involvement in all of this is just plain old shameful. Audeze is so caught up with being a victim of prior theft that they can't think straight. It's the constant whining, bitching, complaining that I am sick of. Audeze is not the only company to get its products stolen or copied. It happens all the time. It's part of the cost of doing business. Audeze's method of dealing with the situation is by treating all of us with contempt. First, there was the endless complaining that Monolith copied Audeze's headphones and blah blah blah. And now this, refusing to warranty a product that they themselves made. Audeze is making bold, unverified claims against Massdrop. They're saying without limitation they will never support any of these headphones purchased from Massdrop. What if these headphones turn out to be legitimate? Indeed, the Massdrop representative has said in plain language that the Audeze headphones were purchased from a legitimate source. Audeze's reaction is an overreaction. There are two reasons. First, Audeze still gets paid for the headphones it sent to the reseller that sold the headphones to Massdrop. This is because when Audeze contracted with that seller, the seller guaranteed to pay Audeze for the shipment, whether it was an upfront payment upon receipt of the headphones from Audeze or a running account that needs to be paid off over time. Audeze still gets paid. Second, assuming that there might be some valid concern that some of the Massdrop headphones are stolen or fakes, Audeze can still determine the truth without alienating customers. Instead of flat out refusing to warranty the headphones, a more measured, reasonable, clear-thinking, not vindictive response would be to simply say that if the serial numbers come back as stolen, Audeze won't support that particular headphone. This gives the customer a chance to buy the headphones from Massdrop, check the serial number on Audeze's website immediately upon delivery, and if the serial number is flagged, the customer can send them back to Massdrop for a full refund. Massdrop is then stuck with a pair of headphones that are unsellable and it has lost money. Again, no harm to Audeze. But Audeze's spiteful, vindictive, self-destructive attitude is precisely the reason why people would prefer to give another brand, like Monolith, a chance. This incident should not be viewed in isolation, something fanboys would prefer. Instead, we need to examine Audeze's behavior over the last several years. For example, a few years ago I wanted replacement earpads and a cable for my EL8. I contacted Audeze. They refused to sell me the accessories without a serial number verification. I, of course, gave them the serial number. But I was shocked. I was ready to pay for the accessories, but I felt treated like I was under suspicion for a crime. I heard stories of Audeze refusing to sell LCD earpads because they thought Monolith would grab the earpads and put them on the Monolith headphones. I don't know for sure if that was true, but the story was around. But that's just a petty thing, isn't it? Then there's Audeze's cash grab scheme with the Mobius, a headphone that is subpar in every way imaginable. Audeze charged an exorbitant cost for plastic, squeaky build, ancient Bluetooth version 4.2, and only 2 Bluetooth codecs. Or what about the LCD-1? This was a headphone that Audeze promised is neutral, has detail. Audeze's conspiratorial collaborators repeatedly said the LCD-1 was for mixing and mastering, and it turned out that the LCD-1 is at best average in everything. Audeze's track record is getting worse every year. Instead of being defensive and vindictive, Audeze should concentrate on the customer and potential customer. People can forgive or forget that Audeze fed us bullshit about the Mobius and LCD-1. They can shrug about the constant whining about Monolith, but people have a tougher time smiling when Audeze treats them with contempt. We are not trying to screw over your company. We just want a good deal. We're not willing to commit a crime for a few bucks of discount. We want Audeze headphones because we think they're unique. And if we find a seller that is willing to give us the headphones for a little less money, why should we be punished for that? And as for Metal 571 and the fanboys, all I can say is that I'm fed up with a lot of them. Metal's unmitigated, obvious, unapologetic support for Audeze's conduct speaks for itself. And the fanboys will say anything to protect a brand they love. It's shameful this is happening. Audeze should be ashamed of themselves for acting like repugnant assholes, but they're not. You see, they don't care. They didn't care enough to tell you the truth about the Mobius. They didn't care enough to be honest about the LCD-1. They didn't care enough to approach the situation with Massdrop in a professional manner. So, what makes any of you think that they give a shit about us? The consumer, the small guy.